Oh, this could be a real adventure way, way out past the barrier. Very interesting as an astrogation problem. Can't say I remember, no add and you have a lot to learn about pirates. Zero friends again. Hey, we're gonna be in so much trouble. The real good guys, yo.
Yo.
Ho, yo, ho, the stars light up our quest. Through
Yeah.
battles and bonds, we'll face the test. With heart and courage, we'll see it through. Yo ho, the skeleton crew. So gather round, mates, and hear this tale of heroes and pirates who set to sail. Through galaxies vast, they chase their dream. The skeleton crew, a Star Wars team. I said, the skeleton crew, a Star Wars team. I said the skeleton crew,
Crew,
Ooh.
a
a
Star
Star
Wars
Wars
team.
team.
Welcome to the grand finale of the Chummy Thumbs Skeleton Crew saga. The epic conclusion is here, folks, and we are diving into episode 8, The Real Good Guys, or as it should have been called, Fern, bring your mummy up to speed. Strap in because this episode delivers twists, turns, and just enough lightsaber action to leave us gasping. First off, Kim in the recap, you know what that means. She's coming back, baby. We got Jod pretending to be a Jedi with the kids barely holding it together. Meanwhile, Wim's dad. Can we talk about Wim's dad? I mean, not exactly earning Father of the Year. Until maybe he starts to. Yeah, let's just say some opinions may have changed. And Neil, just casually having a bath before we're going full Ethan Hunt. From gorgeous cinematography to award-worthy performances, Skeleton Crew has saved some of its best for last. We'll unpack every moment from Jod's devastating backstory to KB's ultimate golden shower, with credits, of course, and that epic shot with Wim and Fern. And let's not forget some of the most epic moments in the Skeleton Crew history. Yes, I know it's only been one season. Wim finally gets the saber, Fern delivering pure wisdom to her mom, and Neil's turbo blaster throwback. Plus, we're tackling the big questions. What does the future hold for these characters? Is there a season 2 on the horizon? And of course, who deserves the next golden shower? As always, we'll end with some Totally Wizard trivia, but this time, questions will not just be from this episode, but the whole series. So strap in, grab your popcorn, a turbo blaster just in case, and join us for a Totally Wizard breakdown of this epic finale. And let's close out this adventure just the way it started, with a bang. Hayden, Shao, my God, boys. Uh, this is it. I mean, we have come to the end of our first series follow on this podcast. Um, I know we've had some brief conversations before. There may be some differing of opinions, but before I throw it to you, fine gents, I just want to say, for me, it was like it caught me by surprise right at the beginning because we were talking about like, how's it gonna start? How's it, like he's come out, the kids are with the parents, totally all missed it, of course, because we said like the kids didn't even tell the parents. Well, they just assume that Jod's a good guy and a Jedi because he's got a lightsaber and he just goes along with it. I was like, oh, I didn't see that coming at all. So, anyways, for me, start with a twist. I really enjoyed it. We'll get into more of that. I'm gonna throw it to you boys first. What did you think?
That was the first thing I noticed too. I was like, oh, they explained it quite well that why the kids didn't at the end of the last episode go, he's a bad guy, he's a bad guy.
It wouldn't have worked for this finale. Oh, one other thing, actually, can I say? Did you
No.
notice during the intro? You guys better not skip the intro. I never skip the intro. the music was different. It was darker. That light sort of harpy piano, and it was like really sort of dark and a bit ominous. I don't know if you guys noticed that. I was like, is this foreshadowing? Like, picked up on it right away. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I know where this episode is going.
Dark. No power, dark. Oh. No, it was good. I think I said this way back in like episode 2, I think, that I feel like they wrote it as like a big long movie, like a 4-hour movie, almost 4.5-hour movie, and then they had to chop it into episodes, which would make sense why there wasn't like, it didn't start with a bang, it just kind of rolled on with the scene, which was fine, like it worked. And I'd love to be able to now go back and like binge watch the entire series in one long chunk to see how it kind of flows, if it flows episodically or if it flows more like a movie. I might do that actually. But yeah, it had lightsaber battle, but not 2 lightsabers. So I was like, oh, it's kind of what we talked about differently. Just to brush over really quickly on things that it didn't answer anything really that we wanted to in terms of like big picture stuff. It was like, how did they get the pirates there? We saw that there was a big battle, and then there was a resolution to it. I found that there was more questions brought up that were like, oh, well, now we need to explore these in potentially more episodes or a second season, or they can leave it where it is, and it'll be one of those shows where it's like, oh, like it was great, but there's still things that I would love to know, but I guess I don't have to know them because it still rounded it out in a degree.
Can I ask you this?
Yes.
What question? What was the biggest question you felt went unanswered? Like for me, we found out who the soup was. We found out Jod's backstory. Those are some kind of the main ones. There was sort of like a resolution, although it was left open. I do agree with that. So I'm just wondering, maybe even for both of you, what do you feel is the biggest unanswered question from this series?
Every one of those 9 Old Republic planets, were they run by droids? Were they all run by the supervisor style things? I don't know if you caught it, but the supervisor had limbs when he was getting taken out by Jod. And I was like, oh, does that mean that he's... Yes, I got it right. Does that mean that he's...
You got it right.
He's able to move? Was he at one point like a crab style like thing? It's been generations since anyone had like visited from outside of the planet, according to the supervisor. So that's hundreds and hundreds of years, maybe even thousands, since like technically the Old Republic. So there's a lot that's gone on, and I don't know. It still made me go, well, why has no one ever questioned why they can't really leave the planet? Why would generations of people be happy to just kind of stay there and follow along?
I think for me, for that, I would say that the other planets, the other app planets, would have been run that way, because they like, there was even a quote that they said, which you say when they were surprised and they're like, it's a droid, and it's like, yeah, as like decreed.
Yeah. So they knew it.
Yeah, so it seems like they all know. And one thing I picked up on this episode, that, and maybe it was because it was after the reveal, the soup was a droid, but I was like, are they acting more robotic? Like the parents? Like they just seem more like they're in fear of the galaxy, and so they're staying there to protect. And maybe that's why at Akron, for example, failed, because they didn't have those people fall in line, and they revolted. But I do get your point. They did leave out a lot of the big stuff, the big answers we've been waiting for, even Jod's backstory. Like a lot of things just happen quick. It's just kind of like reveal, and then we're moving on.
That's one of the main things I have about this finale. Um, because as Justin said, we did have a brief kind of momentary what, discussion in our group chat about this episode, and I had I'm on the side where I think this wasn't a great episode. I don't think it was bad. I don't. I thought that for it being a season finale, it was rather rushed. We did have predictions about how long the episode would be, and given all the questions that we had leading up to it, I did think a lot of it was brushed over. You know, I personally think that um, this could have this series could have been maybe even 10 episodes. Um, and I was also wondering if it would have been better flow wise if it was more of a movie sort of thing. Or you know how sometimes some series like this it comes out weekly and sometimes they just throw it all out at once. It's weird because sometimes um I feel doing it weekly, there's probably pros and cons in business wise, but I feel like doing it all at once for this particular show would have helped a little bit more with the storytelling and flow and stuff like that. It's weird that I I just think that yeah, I think ultimately episodes 1 to 7 was presented with a lot of ooh, like what's gonna happen next? Ooh, like they did a really good job with that, and I just thought that this episode, um, it was a lot of those things were like, oh, uh, like it was a bit of like a letdown in that sense where the buildup was so good, and then I just thought it was like, oh, that's whatever. But I think ultimately this show, I do have to remind myself that it is ultimately a kids show, and I think with that aspect, that kind of theme of I'm not saying it ruined it for me, but there were a lot of moments where I'm like, I wish it kind of went this way instead, or I don't know how to
Mm.
really put it. Is especially the very first scene. Yeah, I did catch on like, oh, I didn't expect the parents to be like, taking his side and kind of like agreeing like, these are kind of our, our kids.
Yeah.
They're not good, whatever. But then the stakes should have been a lot higher for the kids, I think, where this guy, they know his plan. They know that the planet's in danger. I get the whole thing that they're trying to do about making the droids kind of look after them and make sure they're not doing anything fishy. But I just kept thinking there must be ways for them to communicate with their parents, just to let them know something is wrong, even like a tight squeeze or like on the hand or like shaking the hand or when the women his Wendell his yo-yo dad were just eating dinner or something like that, and even after dinner they had time to like free time, and they were playing he was playing with toys and communicating with Neil and stuff like that. Maybe could have slipped him a note. I don't know. I don't know,
I
just like
thought,
little
yeah,
things like that. I'm just like
I
I
thought at the
get
table he was writing him a note because he did look down at one point. I thought he was writing something as he was talking to Slide to him. But I felt that
right.
as like I guess like they're concerned like they didn't do it right away because it's like he's got the lightsaber, he's threatened him. That scene where he threatened them in episode 7, like that was menacing. Like it was scary.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
probably had that fear of like, okay, we got to tell our parents, but like when is the right time to do it? And
Right. But I
I,
think
yeah,
throughout the episode, increasingly, I really do believe that the kids kind of didn't fear him as much because because Jod had several times and opportunities to off them. And like I said last time, I really don't think that he had any more use for the kids. And yeah, that goes back to his character. Maybe he doesn't want to kill them. He doesn't like hurting people, like he said. But at the same time, he did let the pirates in, and the pirates kind of like destroyed the city. And probably realistically, some people would have died. You know what I mean? But he maybe doesn't want to be the person to,
well,
especially a
and
kid.
he
Right.
does have a bit of a connection with them as well. See, I feel like they did a really good job of showing their fear of him. I thought like that scene when they were in the, you know, supervisor's place, like that, those performances by Jod and the kids, I was like, this is really good acting.
I
Like
agree
I
with the
thought it
Jod
was
part.
really good acting
I
for the
agree with the Jod
kids.
part.
Yeah,
I think Jod fucking of course Jude, Mr. Sexy did
yeah,
carry this a lot. Um,
yeah.
but I do think there's a lot of
Mm.
overacting, and especially with Wim. Um, but
Yeah, Fern was stronger for me
very strong for me
of
too. But then
of the
what
kids.
I
Yeah,
mean about the no fear thing is like when he had the saber to her throat, pretty much. It was compared that with Wendell when he had Wendell's, the saber to Wendell. Wendell was like frozen, like kind of like I did see the fear in that, but then Fern, I think maybe because it's happened to her before, she just looked angry. She looked pissed off
yeah,
because you
yeah.
know what I mean?
I
So
loved that.
so
Yeah,
I maybe yeah, maybe it's just because they've gone through it before. And maybe she sees that he's not gonna do anything because he could have done it before. Um
mhm.
yeah, so at the end it just was like they weren't so much fearful, but just like resentful and angry and felt betrayed by Jod. And he had that like last second as the elevator door closes or the door closes at the end, kind of like, and Wim turns back and says, Jod, kind of there's still
Love.
that, of course, that moment was good.
I love that moment.
That
Yeah,
moment was good, but because then you're like, oh, they're obviously they still have a connection. But I think the ultimate goal for Jod was to get the, you know, like a pirate's booty, like the pirate,
mhm,
his goal. And that whole scene where he sees his ship kind of just crashing down and just kind of like stepping by himself in front of the window, reflecting kind of
mhm,
thing. It's almost like he's like, okay, my dreams are kind of like crashing and dying. I'm watching this happen. And then he had that
mm,
look like, oh, okay, maybe I have another idea or something, that, that little like
mhm,
ominous, like that kind of look. But
mhm.
he said there was a line that he said that he doesn't like want, like, what he said, he'll kill anyone that gets in his way or something like that. He said something during his speech that he will kill anyone that gets in his way, but he doesn't, because the kids have been fully in his way for 2 episodes. And
Yeah, and he says too, like that line where he says he doesn't want to hurt anyone.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
But then it goes
I
back
think
to the
for
fact
me,
that he has hurt a lot of innocent
yeah,
people, right?
yeah. I think Jod, and I had to remind myself this after because I was like, man, like I really liked the episode. I thought they built it up nicely, and we got to see the heroics of the kids all in their own ways with KB, Neil, and of course Women Fern together. I loved how it was like instantly it wasn't it like all that was on Wim's mind was we got to save Fern. Like we got to save Fern. Like that's it. Like I love that. Um, and I had to remind myself after because I was a bit disappointed that like it was good to hear that he was being trained as a Jedi, which is something that we kind of questioned and maybe hypothesized about. And he gave the backstory of it, and like that whole monologue was like fucking awesome. But then it was kind of over, and I was like, oh, maybe I wanted more. But then I thought after like, one, what more is there that moves the story forward? And two, ultimately, he kind of stole the show, but the heroes of the show are the kids. And so it seemed like that was more the focus on the episode was the kid's journey through this. Anyways, I want to throw it to Hayden because he doesn't believe in interrupting and he's been patiently sitting there.
You guys like when you get on a roll, I just sit back and let it roll, let it flow. To Jode, not
To who?
Jod. I got it
Oh,
right
Oh,
first, wrong, right
just
again.
call him Mr. Sexy. You can't
Mr.
fail with that.
Sexy.
By the way, he earned that Mr. Sexy name in this episode.
yeah.
And
Oh,
just
yeah,
in
I
this
agree.
one, well, first of all, we got to
No,
address the elephant in the room. He had no chemistry with Mrs. Fern's mom.
I don't know, he had that one line that I was like, wait a minute. I think he said something to Fern along the lines of like, I this isn't the
Bring
quote, but
mommy
it's
up
like,
to speed or whatever it was.
oh yeah, you're gonna be in trouble, both of you, or something. It was something like that, and I was like,
Well,
It's
there
the
was
way
also
it's
the
the
one
way he
line.
said it.
There's also one line when Fern was like, "You have to distract him," and I was like, "Oh, here we go."
Here we go.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Probing.
Let's
Okay. You know, so perverted. But that's what I thought. Anyways, go on, Hayden.
On him, yeah, you've seen it through the episode. He obviously made some connection with the kids, regardless of whether or not he wanted to or not. You know, obviously he has some kind of kindness in his heart, which is why. But then he also has the cutthroat pirate. Hence, you know, Brutus's assassination. Basically, just boom, you're dead because you were going to get in my way. And he obviously had connected with the kids enough that he didn't want to hurt them, like he kept saying. And you see it in the dialogue. A lot of his threats, even though, yeah, they appeared menacing, they weren't actually ever... Like, he could have shot them. Every single time there was something going on, he could have just gone and ended it. He could have gone and shot them when, you know, Fern and her mum were scheming. He could have, you know, instead of being like... doing the evil bad dude thing and monologuing and going, come watch this, like this is what's going to happen, listen to what I have to say. He could have just been like, you're in my way, boom. So I think that there was redeeming parts of his character there, which obviously you saw at the end, like you were saying, with Wim still calling out for him because he was still and I think they saw it too. He was the bad dude, but he wasn't really trying to hurt anyone. I mean, yeah, he was, but at the same time, I could see that he wasn't. He was actively going against his pirate brain to not physically hurt the kids and their family, even though he made the verbal threats. If you watch it again at his physical and the way he delivers some of those lines, it's clear that he is somewhat fond, if you want to say that, for lack of a better emotion, that he doesn't. That's the first part, and then I can't remember what the second part... Oh, yeah, all of the kids coming into their own. I felt Fern had nothing. She did a little bit, but she really did nothing compared to the other three in terms of, like, stepping up into a... Because you know how I'd said a couple of times that it was... I liked the fact that they kept the kids as kids. They didn't turn into, like, little mini superheroes, you know. But this episode, it was kind of the culmination of all the skills that they'd gathered throughout their adventure, that they were able to step up into those, you know, more, you know, mini superhero roles. Like KB came into her own. She finally, from 2 episodes back going, I can't do the things that everybody else does, to leading the pack, to getting the ship flying up. Like, she did it all herself. Wim became a mini Jedi. He got, you know, he hatched a plan. He took on the guy head on, used a lightsaber. He did all of that stuff that he wanted to do. Neil, you know, precious little Neil was like, gets blown off a hover bike, and he's like, I'm still going to go and get the cannon on the roof.
He's like, when they like, he's like, leave me or you keep going or something like that.
Yeah. And then he's like, head on with a pirate ship, just like, boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Whereas Fern, I get it. Fern was like held captive, but she didn't really. I guess she'd been the captain throughout the series, so she had been taking, you know, all of that weight of being in charge. So I guess she's allowed to step back or be like on the back burners in this one because it allowed the others to kind of come up. But I was kind of like, yeah, she's just kind of there looking, you know, angsty with her mum at Mr. Sexy.
Good points. I think at the beginning, just Jod thinks that she's the biggest threat to him, right? Out of the 4, which makes sense why he was like, come with me, that kind of thing. So give personal, you know, eye on her and stuff like that. So she won't try anything funny, which she does a couple of times. But yeah, now that you think about it, yeah, I love how, you know, good point about how, you know, when we kind of predicted it too, right? All 3 of us, when Neil was in Akron, got introduced to that blaster turret thing.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, that's definitely going to be used by Neil. And sure enough, you know, did a little bit of damage, but enough to cause, you know, distract them enough for KB to fucking go off the barrier and stuff. But I love how KB, yeah, like you said, her arc was great. Goes off on her own, has confidence, and, you know, all that stuff. Gets that golden shower at the end, which is a great shot.
That was
Um,
that shot
really good.
of the ship when it pierced the barrier, that wide angle when it went into
Oh yeah.
space. I was like, I paused it. I was just like looking at it. I was like, it was such a beautiful. And there's some nice wides of Jod. Shao, you mentioned it when he was looking out at the end. Like, there's some really nice cinematography I felt in this episode. I mean, throughout the series, but in this episode, it had the most where I was like, oh, that's a beautiful shot. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. Shao, I have a question for you because I know you wanted more and maybe to be a little less of a kid show. And so I want to know if you had the same thought I had. Um,
Oh, God.
so when Mr. Sexy is using the force to try and pull the lightsaber from Wim and he's holding it in front of him, I just had this thought of like, oh man, if he turns this on and it's
Yeah,
backwards
yeah.
again, that would be fucking hilarious. It's just, it's just
Yeah.
gonna go right through his heart.
They actually showed it though.
I'm not fucking lying. I did think about that.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, that's a horrible. Or if when Fern helps too, they just get skewered together. Like that'd be horrible. But
Yeah.
yeah, it crossed my mind a little bit. Not gonna.
I'm pretty sure though he actually looks at it though, doesn't he, before to make sure it is the right way.
yeah, yeah. I love
Yeah,
that
I think there's a
shot
little.
at the end of as well too. I thought, oh man, this is such a Star Wars shot of when Wim and Fern were standing side by side, and Wim's got the lightsaber, and they're both just like staring down. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
iconic,
I think that
iconic.
is I think that is fully just like a full like arc kind of almost like a fan service shot. Like it was like epic in that sense. He never used it, right? It was just more so, he got was
Yeah,
called the Jedi by KB. He is holding a saber. He's a Jedi now in the sense where, like you're saying that he was planning all this stuff. He's very heroic. Without him, then this whole last episode wouldn't really, happen. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I
I
mean,
thought all their arcs were great, like
yeah.
completed throughout the course of the series. I thought they did a good job with that.
Yeah. But now that I'm thinking about it, Wim's is pretty obvious. KB's is great because she had her own episode pretty much about, feeling useless or whatever you want to call it. Neil got the courage kind of thing, kind of Wizard of Ozzy in a way. Everyone had their own little thing to whatever. But I think Fern's arc is probably the weakest as well. Like, I don't know, like
I think because she
um,
came in fully formed as like she was already
more
like
mature,
yeah.
more leader, didn't lack that much. There's one little part where, in the middle of the series where she lacked confidence, right? And then like Wim had to kind of have a little talk with her or whatever. But this last episode, I guess now that Hayden mentioned it, she was kind of useless in a sense. I don't know. No,
She
not
went
saying
after, yeah,
she wasn't useless. She wasn't useless. She was just the least impactful, I thought.
yeah. Just staying on Fern. I mean, I get what you say. Maybe her arc isn't as obvious as the others. Like she kind of starts as this headstrong young girl, and I don't know. I think maybe some of the other characters had better opportunities in this episode to kind of shine, whereas like we kind of have been discussing, she was held captive. I did really like the one moment that kind of like her shining moment for me in this episode was when she's with her mom and her mom is saying, we do this, like they decreed this, like we're safe, it's dangerous and bad and there's horrible people. And Fern is like, yeah, we went to like the worst places and they had the worst people and it was dangerous. And then she says, even the worst places have good people too. And I was like, you know, for a child to have that sort of empathy for the galaxy, the universe, I thought is pretty grand, because children don't always think that way or have those type of feelings. I mean, I felt like it was very deep. It wasn't just like, yeah, but there's good people there too. It was like, it was very a matter of fact. Like, yeah, there's shitty places, terrible places with terrible people. But even those places, there's good people. And for me, that was kind of her shining moment, was being able to reflect on and being mature enough, wise enough to be able to see that and understand that. I don't know where that falls into her arc, but that was kind of like her moment for me in this episode.
I think that little speech that they had together raises an interesting point because the mom did say that the whole point of the barrier is to protect everyone and protect them from having this kind of stuff happen, being raided or, destruction or whatever. And they were everyone
Yeah.
before that was living a quite comfortable, happy, well, you can't say happy. It's more like almost like a factory, but everyone was safe in a sense. But now that
Yeah.
all this has happened, people know where it is. People know secrets. There's a lot of destruction, which of course to them probably whatever they're a rich planet can get fixed really easily. But that being said, I think this question might divide some people, maybe or maybe not. But it's like, would you rather have gone through all that and put your safe haven in on the map, or would you just go the safe route and not explore, not do all this stuff, and so we can live for generations and be safe? You know what I mean?
Well, to be fair, I mean, that depends on how you're asking the question because the kids didn't know the gravity of what going off planet meant at the time.
Yeah.
So if you do know, um, yeah, that's a really tough one because you don't live in that. But I imagine there would for sure be people who would be curious and who
Yeah,
would
for
want
sure.
to go. I think to really protect it, you would have to almost eliminate the ability to even get off planet, like as if there's no way. Like this, we're not a multi-planetary system. You can't teach about other planets. You can't teach about the old Republic, Coruscant, and Alderaan. Yeah, that's a really good question. And I mean, it's funny because even in the moment of when the pirates had invaded and Jod's like, look, I mean, and it was totally like extreme ruler, but he's like, look, you guys, you just do what you've always done. Just make credits,
Yeah.
like your life's not going to change. Now, I mean, I think ultimately, well, that leads to another question. Would it? So now you're being, just instead of droids always watching you and making sure you're doing the right thing and not being bad, you have pirates. So really, it wouldn't have been much of a big difference to them whether Jod's in charge or droids are in charge. There would still be discipline and it wasn't, I mean, the droids, they would stun people. You do something bad, hey, you get stunned and you get disciplined. So
With pirates running the place, though, it could be interesting in the fact that there could be mutiny, there could be whatever, and like people want to take over,
yep.
people aren't happy with Jod, that kind of stuff. When you introduce more random people, there's more entropy, there's more like whatever
Yep.
random things can happen. So
Yep.
if they know what's outside, which some of them do, would they be curious enough to leave and want to pursue that, or be happy in their own little tribe? You know what I mean? I that's one of the themes that I thought about for this episode, is that okay, they open the door and they have that shot where everyone's looking in the sky and seeing stars for the first time. Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. It's
Yeah.
like curiosity there,
Yeah.
but that also opens the door to danger. You know what I mean? Potentially.
I think it also opens the door to more, you know, opportunity
Yeah.
within the Star Wars universe for other shows and films. And now Atten has been opened up. So wouldn't be surprised if you see it in another Star Wars show.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a really good question. I mean, it's tough because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but one thing I wished I had done more when I was younger, and I look forward to doing now that I'm older, is traveling the world, because I think there's so many cool and unique and beautiful places that I'd love to see. So I tell you, yeah, I would want to go. I'd want to travel just because, I mean, even just going to space, and now it's a bit different because like I just don't have that capability, period, on Earth. But that's always been a dream, of mine. And so I would have that desire, I think, to want to go and travel space and see another planet and see what different species are like and how do they live. And yeah, and I would probably be a pirate, or like like that'd be exciting, man. I'm all about adventure.
Have you guys ever thought of like a pirate name? Like what you know how like Jod had like 5 names or whatever. I don't know. That'd be
No, I haven't ever thought of a pirate name. Have you?
I remember as a kid I used to, I went through cops, the phases of cops and whatever. I never into cowboys or whatever, but uh pirates I was really obsessed with, but I don't think I ever had a pirate name though. I feel like those you have to earn, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, those are earned.
Yeah, you can't just give yourself like, oh yeah, call me, Captain.
It's like picking your own nickname, man. It's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah,
call me
like some
Ace.
people have called me like Captain Handsome, but whatever. Like I don't know where that came from, but
Yeah.
whatever. Just call me that if you want.
Captain Handsome and Mr. Sexy. Ooh,
Oh, you know him too?
yeah.
But Justin, actually, I wanted to ask you a question. How did you feel about seeing SM33? Because you've expressed before, you're like, better not bring him back.
Oh God, I had mixed feelings about it. I was like his his head works unattached. Why didn't his head work when it was unattached when the lightsaber cut it off?
Okay.
It
So sorry, Justin, before you say that, because I
Yeah,
did watch this twice, and
yeah.
the first time I was like, yeah, this lightsaber fully severed his head with wires and everything. It's a separate thing.
Yeah.
And then I thought I saw there was a shot where he was next to KB, like he was holding his head, but I saw the wires connected again. And so I'm like, did KB just like really quickly like KB him up?
Well, if she did, she fucking failed, because she should have just attached the head so he didn't have to hold it. You know what I mean? Like, come on, KB. You can save the planet, but you can't attach a fucking droid's head back. Like, give your head a
She didn't
shake.
have
No,
time.
I'm not even
yeah.
sure if that's what happened, but I think because I thought of that too. And then I saw
Um,
maybe.
yeah, I'll put it to you this way. I'm happy he didn't play a bigger role,
Right.
but I would have been like, if he came in head attached, I would have been like,
And
fuck
like
off,
fighting people and shit.
Yeah, like shields set to whatever you set shields to. So I
Destroyed.
thought, I was like, they it was cute that he came back, and I don't know. Yeah, I'm sort of just even about it. I'm not super excited, but I'm also not like fuming, like I acting like I'll be like, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you guys right now.
Please.
Starting
And I
now.
haven't done this for, and yeah, I mean, like, starting right now. All that
This
other shit
last episode.
was
Starting
just
now.
me rambling. I haven't done this for any of the episodes except for the finale. But before I watched the finale, I got blasted. And I always, if if I like something and I'll watch it stoned, I always think it's so much better. So it'd be interesting to go back and rewatch it. But I have such good vibes about it. Like, I don't want to, like, so I don't know if that's what kind of evened me out on the whole SM33 thing, or why I feel so highly about it. But I mean, I don't think it is. Like, I do think it was a good. I think seeing the kids all come into their own, and I think, honestly, Mr. Sexy's monologues, like, I saw somebody post a really good comment, and I was like on board with it. And he said, I would like to speak to the kids, and this was after episode 7. So, and I thought episode 8 had it as well. but they said, I'd like to speak to the kids just to talk about how their experience was on set that day shooting that scene when Jude went sort of like full evil on them. Just to see how they're, because I thought like he didn't hold back in those performances. I really feel like as much as it was just a show about the kids, his performance was just like the cherry on top. And you don't have a performance from, you know, your lead antagonist like that. And I don't know if the show is as good as it is, or if even the kids' performances are as good as they are in those moments, just being able to react to something that's just coming out so raw. But for SM33, yeah, I wasn't excited, wasn't pissed. It was just kind of like, they did it right. You know, it was small, a small little part. Who actually thought KB died when the ship crashed?
No.
Did anybody for 1 second believe she was dead?
Mr.
I
Sexy.
actually,
You can see his look on his face.
Yeah. Well, I know. I mean,
was-
you guys.
I almost,
was like,
I
oh.
almost wanted them to just to like challenge it. You know, like I was almost like, I dare you to kill someone like one of those, because you know,
See, it's you
death
fucking
and
evil
I mean, like,
man.
So you picked the
that's the
one
thing about like
who's
Star Wars, right? I mean, that's the thing about I said about being a kids show. Is like Star
Yeah.
Wars is not unfamiliar, or you know, they've done it before where they've killed off people, or like they've chopped off limbs, or whatever you want to call it, right?
Look at how many kids they killed in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
yeah, but we weren't invested in any of those kids, so
that's
it was-
true.
You're right.
But
We don't care about kids dying if we you know.
no, it was just to see the evil of Anakin.
Hayden said it. He
Hayden
doesn't.
said it.
If you have kids and you're listening, Hayden doesn't care about them. He just
At all.
doesn't give a shit.
At all. But that's the thing. I was just like, I know for a fact they won't do it.
Yeah.
So I mean, you knew it from the beginning that they were not going to do it. But I don't want, KB is my favorite, so I didn't want her to die, of course.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, I dare you. If you would give my respect if this happens, because it would be like a shocking thing that I'm like, okay, they were bold enough to do it, but then I know they weren't going to do it, or any of the kids. They're not.
And hey, and suck it, Shao. By the way, suck it, Scraps. By the way, Kim did come back. She was maybe just a hologram, but she was there.
She was there. And who picked
So
the
take-
episode character? Did I finally get one?
Hayden did get it.
Yeah.
Hayden got Wim said it.
A pirate's life for me.
Yep,
Is that
that's
what-
exactly
Yeah,
what
what
he
were the
said.
guesses again, Shao? What were the guesses?
Okay, we have Hayden who guessed Wim saying a pirate's life
No,
for me.
no. In character, remember. You gotta do it in character.
Oh yeah. A pirate.
A pirate's life for me. That's Wim. Do I have to do the rest?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the week to practice. You're British.
Justin, who guessed Jod, said, "Suck it, scraps." Suck it, scraps. And I think that's it. That's those are the
Shao, I thought you had a
guess.
guess.
Really good. Those are really good guesses.
Can we talk about
Oh,
Wim's?
there is one more.
Oh
There is
yeah,
one more.
yeah.
I guessed Wendell, Wim's dad. Yeah, so I lost.
Yeah.
Um,
I just want to go on Wim's dad real quick because I don't know what
Yes.
our running time is right now, but I have a lot of trivia questions that I think would be fun to play with you guys and the listeners. But we'll do final thoughts after this if anybody else has anything and we want to wrap it up. Wim's dad, holy fuck. For the first half of that episode, he pissed me off so bad. I always thought he was going to be this like cool guy or whatever. And I was like, this guy is the biggest pussy in the world. You know, I was like, he literally made me angry. Like I was writing down like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, and then I thought they did I would say I don't even know if a secondary character is right for him, but you know, you'd see like a clip at the beginning of each episode of the parents or maybe, but he had a huge arc in that final episode. Like I went from absolutely despising him to having so much respect for him by the end of the episode. I was like, wow, they packed that in that episode. Anyways, we're gonna get to some trivia, but I don't know if you guys have any final thoughts. Well, you know what? There's some questions actually that let's get to those. Or let's go final thoughts. I'll throw it to you guys for final thoughts, and then I want to ask some questions.
Okay, my final thought is I think a lot of people's final thoughts are, will there be season 2? Okay, and it's set up.
Thanks for asking one of the questions. Yep.
Okay. Well, let's get right into it then.
No.
It's set up.
No.
It's set up to have it, or at least this is what's interesting, because it's at least, I don't think and I don't hope that it's the last time we see Jude's character, right? There's no way. Like, people were like, "What happened to him? Did he die?" No, he didn't. No, there's no way he died. And
if he did, they would show him die. Like,
yeah,
give him the respect. Give him a good death. If you're gonna
give him a
kill
golden
off,
shower.
you know?
Yeah, give him the
Yeah.
true golden shower. But this is
just a vault of chips crushing him.
oh my god, that'd be
Suck it, scraps.
but I think I mentioned it to the boys in the group chat before. I can't believe how low the ratings not ratings, viewership of Skeleton Crew is. I think it did pick up a little bit, but the first few episodes were lower than Acolyte. However, the ratings for the show was decent, pretty solid.
90% on RT
80s,
for
80s to 90s.
I think it was 80 something audience, and then critic was 90.
Yeah, it's very strong, but
very strong, yeah.
Numbers wise is very interesting. I mean, the writers, the creators have ideas for season 2 already. They said they want to go with it. They're trying to negotiate something with Disney and whatever. Just whatever. We don't know if it will. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. However, I think it's interesting too. If there is a season 2 of Skeleton Crew, the kids will be a lot older in a sense that, production wise, if they start production late this year, it'll come out this earliest this will come out in like maybe 2 years, and that age for those kids, they're going to grow a lot and very fast, and probably lose a little bit of the charm, just like Stranger Things. As the kids went on, it was like or Modern Family, as the kids went on, you're like so I wouldn't mind a little bit of a spin-off, or I'm just gonna say it. I don't really care about the arc anymore for the kids. I don't really care if I see the kids anymore. They had their adventure. Is Wim gonna be a Jedi? I don't care. Like, I don't really care for his character. But I do want to see Jod more.
It would be.
I honestly think the kids.
Listen, Wim, dude. I'm
just gonna say it. I don't like Wim. I'm just gonna say it right now.
What's your you've had beef with Wim from the get-go, okay?
I did. I think he's the most annoying of all.
Nobody liked Luke in A New Hope. We're gonna get the Star Singers to scamming your thing. Like, he was just a whiny little shit, whatever. Oh, but I need the thing. For me, I know you're a big KB fan, and I know people love Neil because he's adorable, but I don't give a shit about adorable. He did have a good arc as well as KB. Wim is probably like the character I care about most of the kids, and about his arc. To me, when he's looking up at those X-Wings at the end, like, you could see it in his eyes, man. This guy, he wants to go join the New Republic. He wants to fly an X-Wing. He wants to be a part of something greater. And to me, that's interesting. What's that journey like as a child wanting to go do that? What's Neil gonna do? He's just kind of like, the goofy sidekick. Yeah, people like him. You got to have him. But where's the adventure? Where's the it factor? KB, she's got it. Fern, I don't know where her journey takes her, but like Wim and KB, I'd say to me are the most interesting where they could take their arc further. Wim, I'd love to see him go and I don't know, like I said, join the New Republic, join the X-Wing, train to be. I mean, I guess they're not rebels anymore because they defeated the Empire. Or no, this would be
Yeah.
yes, right? Yeah, it's after they defeat it. So to me, he's got drive, he's got passion, he's got something that he wants to pursue. The others don't. KB, because she's smart and technical and I can see her having something. I just can't see what Neil and Fern would necessarily have, but that's my thoughts. My final thoughts.
Hayden, if there was a season 2, where would you like it to go?
Just on your point, it would be. I think it would be easy and for Star Wars to follow kids when they grow rapidly because you can easily just time jump it, right? And it would be they're 11, 12 now. So yeah, you've got the more formative years at 13, 14, 15, 16, which would, as much as that you don't see them being very interesting past this season, I think that would be something where they could explore more mature themes for grow with your audience, so to speak, you've got them when they're younger and then you get them when they're older. There's a lot of room for them to grow, and obviously a season 2 would give the characters like Fern and Neil, who you kind of don't see exactly where they could go, to give them growth and, make the characters quote unquote more interesting. But Wim, I think, would be, like you just said, Justin, I would love to see him hook up with Luke Skywalker in his new Jedi Academy, because it's in that same era.
Just a quick question. Would you guys be upset if they brought back the kid characters, but 10 years down the road and there'd be different actors?
I think they'd miss a lot because of what Hayden's saying. I'd like to see Wim's journey.
Like if he had his own spin-off show?
I don't think it needs to be a spin-off, but yeah,
just another couple more seasons as they get older,
yeah,
right.
They go off, do their own things, and then he's pursuing his, KB hers, Neil, he's still just wanting to be an analyzer, but they reunite because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, Neil goes back to Akron to meet up with that girl that he loves.
Oh yeah.
And then he goes to La
Guess whose
Lupa
balls
because
just dropped?
he loves his bard, so he's gonna go to La Lupa, the hotel planet. It would be kind of interesting if it's never really been done in television. If you were to do sequel series like season 2 and 3, but not the following years, right? So wait a couple of years, do a couple of other Star Wars projects, and then come back with the season 2. Then you've got the characters a little bit older, and then you can just sprinkle in all of the experiences, and then wait a couple of years again. I don't know if it would ever really work with keeping people's interests, but it would be an interesting. It's sort of like what they would do with sequel movies, right? You got to wait a couple of years.
I could see how that could work, because then they could be further into their story in life, and you'd be able to say so much of this has already happened, and this is where you can kind of advance them in where they are in their overall life arc.
But if they were to do it just as a standard regular, here's a sequel season, I would love to see them explore the aftermath of what Atton goes through with being open to the galaxy now.
Yeah,
because you would be able to bring in there'd be more species on the planet. There would be a whole lot more, intergalactical trade and whatnot, just to kind of see how the citizens would go, if there would be some kind of animosity between the locals and the new people that were there, and whether or not there would be, cadet training for the kids as an option now to be able to get off planet and see the world and become pilots if they wanted to be. All of that, I think there's a lot more sort of avenues that they can kind of explore as the world becomes bigger, as the galaxy has, been open to them. So yeah, that's my final thoughts. If they expand the world of AT-AT in a season 2 into the galaxy.
Okay, so listen, everybody. This has been a longer episode. Obviously, there's a lot to get into. Stick around. We're going to do some Skeleton Crew series trivia. But before, really quickly, really quickly, I need you guys to just spurt it out because there's one final question that I said we would discuss in the intro that we haven't answered yet. And that is, who deserves the next golden shower? Shao.
Who deserves the next golden shower?
We've seen two.
Wim.
He's earned it, eh?
Yeah. KB got hers. Jod got his.
Hayden.
He stole my guy. Wim.
Oh, interesting. How you stole my guy for the fucking title thing.
You can use the same guy. You can use the same guy.
I want to make it interesting. I thought Wendell would have had his moment.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Wendell because I always thought big things from him, and then I hated him when I finally got to see more from him. I hated him so bad, but then he earned my respect in the end, and he deserves a big golden shower. Okay. All right, let's get to the final total wizard trivia. I have listen, we got 20 questions and a tiebreaker, so stick with us. Let's test your knowledge.
I have a quick question.
Sure, quick question.
Question to the trivia master. Is there the rule of doesn't matter how many you get right, if you get the last question you win?
No.
All right, there we go. We're good. So I have to try from the beginning.
I'm saying that so you try.
I tried.
Of course, obviously, whoever gets the last one wins everything. Actually, I'll tell you what.
If it's anyone but me.
We won't have whoever wins the last question wins, but we'll have whoever wins a golden shower. So, question 1. What was the opening scene of this series?
The opening scene. Oh,
my God.
Ding, 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 ding.
Series. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Hayden.
Was it Wim on his data pad?
Incorrect.
No. I know what it is. I know what it is.
That's what I was.
We had a conversation about this, Hayden.
That's what I was thinking too. The only thing I can picture right now, this is wrong. The only thing I can picture right now is just I can picture Atten, just like the city of it, but I can't. There's nothing specific. That's all I can see right now. So,
can I dig in again?
Sure.
Hey, let him have it.
We'll allow a second. We'll allow second dings in this one because it is throughout the series. Go ahead, Hayden.
It was Captain Silvo walking on the brig with his helmet, was it not? Because it was. I remembered it was a shot for shot of the beginning of A New Hope.
It was a ship. It was a ship going through in space.
Yeah. So remember I said it started with a bang, and then you're like, well, actually there was that dead silence because the ship pulled up, and then it was the shot for shot for the New Hope. Yeah. Yes. Listen, you get it right on the first ding, 1 point. You get it right on the second ding, half point.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Half point, Hayden. Okay, question 2. How many vaults were there?
Ding, 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 ding.
Shao.
There's no way.
What are we talking about? 11399.
That's correct. Question number 3. In episode 8, when riding on the hover bikes and confronted by the pirates, who was the first person to turn off and lead the way? Shao?
KB?
That is correct. She is the first one. Okay, question number 4. This is a fill in the blank. Okay. This is a conversation between women, Wendell. Fill in the blank. Son, you're talking to a
Ding, 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 ding,
level.
ding.
I haven't given the blank yet, but Chow.
Systems coordinator, level 7 systems coordinator.
That is correct. Shao wrote that down. He's like, "Oh, this is a Justin question for sure."
I did the
Talk
same
it off.
thing. I did the same thing. I was like, oh, he's gonna have this one.
Okay. Ooh, this is a good one. This is from episode 8 as well. This is another fill in the blank. And it's Jod. Okay. The galaxy is dark with just a few blank of light.
Oh.
Just a few.
Hayden, do you have an idea? I think I know half of it.
I thought
No.
I loved
Ding,
this.
ding, ding,
Ding, ding, ding, ding. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Just going off Justin's finger, just a few. I don't know. Was it only one word blanked or a few specks? Ping
Incorrect.
points, pricks.
Oh,
Oh,
you
ding,
can't
ding,
just
ding,
keep
ding, ding,
throwing
ding,
up.
ding, ding, ding.
Shao.
Ding, ding. Pinpoints.
Incorrect.
Isn't it pin? It's pin something. Okay, anyways. It's
It's
pin
pin
breaks.
pricks.
Pin
Pin
pricks.
pricks.
Pin pricks.
Yeah.
So, question, whatever number we're on. What are the only things that matter to Jod in the galaxy?
Oh.
He said it a couple times.
Yeah. Hayden, this is all you. I remember one. I remember the scene, but I don't remember the line.
I have no idea. Credits?
I'll give you a half point. He said cold, hard credits. Okay.
Tight game.
Episode 8. Again.
Okay.
In that iconic shot that I was talking about with Wim and KB, what side of Wim's body was the lightsaber on when he was holding it up?
Ding, ding, ding.
Shao.
Are like stage or like his body versus
His body.
his right?
That is incorrect.
Fuck.
Ding, 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 ding.
Hayden, any guesses?
His left.
That is incorrect.
You said what
talking
side of
about?
his body?
I'm just kidding. Settle down, boys.
That was so
Settle
good.
down. Settle
The
down,
front
boys.
side of his body?
He's so angry. Trick question. The lightsaber wasn't on. Okay. Next question.
He wasn't holding it.
Episode 6. Here we go. What did they have to reset on KB?
Oh God. Ding, 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 ding.
Shao.
Her occipital link.
That is correct. Her occipital link. Nice one. Okay. In my bomb-ass intro song, what were the first 8 lines of the lyrics from?
Ding, 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 ding.
Hayden.
They were all the episode titles.
That is correct.
Very good.
I thought it was very clever. Well done. You have to do a studio recording of it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Let's throw this one way, way back to episode 4. What does Mr. Sexy say his planet tastes like?
I don't even remember him talking about being on a planet.
It's very brief. It's when they landed on at Akron, and they say, whatever, this is what my planet tastes like.
I kind of remember, but I don't know the answer.
Ash and dust.
I feel like I wrote that down somewhere, but I just don't know how the notes in front of me.
Moving on. What do they call tablets?
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh,
Hayden.
Data pads.
That's right. He's got it.
I have that written down.
It took me
too.
a few episodes to remember that, but
Yeah.
your teachings,
Well,
Justin.
when you used it when we were recording today, I was like, oh, okay, here we go. He's got it. It's in his brain. Ooh. Let's throw it back even further. Episode 2. Oh my gosh. At the Pirate Bay, when they went to the pirate place, and the kids kind of first learned from the pirates from an outside perspective about their planet. what did they, not the kids, but the pirates, what did they, when they said they were from, what did they refer to their planet as? We've talked about it a lot. It came up a lot in our discussions. What was it? 4, 3, 2. The secret planet of eternal treasure.
Yeah, definitely forgot about that one.
Yeah. Episode 4. What was not allowed in the cockpits?
Ding, ding, ding,
Cockpit.
ding, ding.
Meaning, oh,
Hayden.
Adults.
That is correct. Oh boy, do we need to do a score recap here? In episode 5, how many times did SM33 say, can't say I remember no at-atin?
ding, ding, ding.
Shao.
I don't know.
I got this one
remember doing
wrong.
last
I got it wrong on the last time.
I think
time.
Hayden
5.
guessed 1 last time.
5.
That is correct. What is the name of the kid ship?
Ding, 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 ding.
The ship, Hayden.
Oh,
The Onyx Cinder.
That is correct. Maybe I threw it off by saying the kid ship.
Oh,
That's
these
okay.
days.
yeah.
Hayden got it. Okay. Ooh, episode 1. Way back.
Ooh.
What did Wim think he found when he fell down the ravine?
Ding, 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 ding.
Hayden.
A Jedi temple.
That is correct. Episode 6. What's the name of the thing on the ship that no one should ever push? Never touch it?
I don't remember.
I don't remember its full name.
Did you get this last time?
No, I thought he was going to ask it, so I wrote it down. But
That's
no
fine.
guesses.
I can't remember its
It-
full name. It was like the hull detonation thing, but I've got nothing now.
Yeah.
Just give us the answer.
Oh, if you can give me one more word, I'll give you a half point.
Exterior.
No, okay. Emergency hull
Emergency.
demolition sequencer.
I know it started with E.
Name 2 pirates other than Mr. Sexy.
Ding, ding, ding.
Shao.
Kona and Pax.
That is correct. Okay, we have 1, 2, and a tiebreaker question. But let me quickly tally up the points. Oh my gosh, we have 2 questions left and a tiebreaker. We are currently sitting at Shao 5.5 points, Hayden 6.5 points.
Ooh.
Oh boy. Here we go. In the final episode, what childhood trauma shaped Jaw's mistrust and complicated relationship with the galaxy?
Ding, ding, ding.
Shao.
Oh, that is. Ah, fuck.
What trauma did he go through?
Seeing his master get killed in front of him.
That is correct. Shao. Oh my gosh. 6.5. We might not need the tiebreaker. This might be the tiebreaker. We said that it doesn't matter who got the last question right. Doesn't necessarily mean they win. Well, guess what? This does mean they win.
He gets a golden shower.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Oh my gosh. This is the quickest to the dinger one too. In the final episode, what unexpected secret did the kids and Jod discover about the supervisor? More specifically, who the supervisor was.
Ding, 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 ding.
Shao.
What, a droid?
That is correct.
You know what?
Let's do the bonus question.
Let's do the bonus question.
Let's do the bonus
To
question.
see if I can tie it up.
Yeah.
See if you can tie it up. Oh shit, nobody's getting this one. Well, actually, okay. In the title sequence,
Fuck.
what was the last head or helmet that is shown? You know, for a tiebreaker, you think you go with an easy question, but
Ding, ding, ding.
Shao.
SM33.
That is correct. No shit. He got it.
Yeah, look, you're like, yeah, I knew that all along.
Yeah. Solid
It's
guess.
one of those. Because I
Solid
asked you
guess.
guys one time about the helmet thing. And so I had to
Yeah, you
watch it a
did.
couple times. But I forgot if it was actually SM or not.
Anyways, enough about that. Hope you guys had fun playing the big long skeleton crew totally wizard trivia with us today and in all the previous episodes. I really enjoyed doing this, following the series along with you boys. I hope you listening, you enjoyed the show. I'd be really curious to know what you guys think about if there should be a season 2, and if so, what direction would you like to see it go? Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you've been digging the show so far. We are going to be moving on from the series into something else. Hayden, do you have a quick little update of what we're going to be doing next? Okay, to be determined. So it will be a surprise for you all, like it is going to be for Shao and I. Again, hope you enjoyed it. Stick around. Don't forget to follow us on socials. We'll see you next time. And until then,
Keep on.
keep on thumbing.
Thumbing.